Welcome, everybody. I'm Jay. This is MMA Underground. We are here with Bobo, the Bible Belt Brawler O'Banion from BKFC. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. I'm excited to get you on. I know we had to pre record this because our schedules don't match up for the live show, but I appreciate you making time to come on with us.
Oh man, I appreciate you having me on, and I apologize about the schedule change. Things we're finding tomorrow. Actually, I start working the swing shift schedule, so I apologize about that.
No problem. I got a lot of questions, but we'll start with that. How do you balance training and working a full time job?
It's been pretty easy, I guess. We've been working 410s, and I just get off work, come home, and train with Jason Williams with Boxer Tricks. We train online via FaceTime, and but I do my training after I get off my 10 hours, and then I have 3 days a week, most of the time 2 days a week, where I get to go and do whatever I want to do, and as far as training goes and all.
Yeah, and I know you told me your trainer's out of Wales. Maddie's going to be sad because it's where his heritage is, even though he lives in England. But it's almost midnight there, and he has to teach in the morning, so he couldn't be with us.
Yeah.
But I know he'd be excited just to hear that you train with somebody from Wales.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's awesome, man. He's an awesome guy, man. You know what? Us getting to know each other, spending time on Facetime with one another. He's an awesome fella. He's a heck of a trainer. I'm not a very good student, but he's a heck of a trainer, man. And we've been working together since I guess last March now, and March or April, I believe it was. And anyhow, he's been able to teach me a lot, and it's crazy the amount of knowledge he can transfer over line online over FaceTime.
Yeah, Zoom, FaceTime, like we're using StreamYard. It's all changed the world. Like, and we kind of learned a lot of this from being locked out in the pandemic. Like, a lot of things can happen over the internet that none of us thought of before.
Yes, sir. That's how he figured all this out. Is he had fighters that still wanted to train with him, and they couldn't do it in person, so they started doing it via the FaceTime or whatever it is, and that's how he got started and all this, and that's what encouraged him to reach out to me.
That's really cool. So I gotta ask, what made you get into fighting? Like that's something I gotta ask every fighter because we all know it takes a special kind of person to get up and go, I'm gonna get punched in the face today.
Man, whenever I was growing up, my father was doing the tough man contest, and I've been 6 foot tall since I was about 12 years old. So I've always been a big kid. He would use me as his sparring partner, his sparring dummy. Really, man, I'd end up busted up, black eyes, busted nose, whatever. And then the neighborhood kids started coming by, seeing him beating up on me, and they was like, "Hey, that looks fun. Can we beat up on him too?" And so, these are all kids 2 and 3, 4 years older than me. When you're only 9, 10, 11 years old, that makes a huge difference in them couple of years. But they get in there and they start sparring with me, which was nothing more than just a beat the crap out of Bobo session. But I started learning there. I got real physical there. I got real tough. Started playing high school football. Got real tough. Was a standout as an offensive lineman. Had many of colleges want me to come play football for them. But then in high school, I found out about the Tough Man contest at Fairgrounds, which is a one night single elimination boxing tournament. And I went out there and got beat the first two people, one punch knockouts. Got never somebody knew what he was doing and got stopped. And that happened about 3 times. So then I started training for it, and I was like, man, this stuff's fun when you're in shape, when you can train. And so then I started winning all the tough man contests out there. They kicked me out, wouldn't let me compete no more. And so I turned pro. The guy that was training me for the tough man contest, also a professional boxing trainer. And so I turned pro after that. So that's kind of a little bit of what led me there.
So that tough man, that's like what Mr. T was famous for, butterbean, that kind of thing, right?
Yes, sir. The one I fought mostly was local in Mobile at the fairgrounds. It was called the I don't know, Backyard Brawl, I think is what it was called. I don't really don't remember, but they we won it. You know, was winning it, and then I got invited by a friend to come to the one that's on FX with the yellow and black gloves to fight at the casino in Biloxi on that Tough Man contest that was on TV. I was like, that was pretty cool winning money on TV, you know. So then I got into it that way. I won it, then ended up turning pro and did professional boxing for a little while after that. And I didn't, man, you get hit with them gloves, that's hard, that's solid, that hurts you for weeks. But I've seen Mr. Roy Jones Jr. or Roy Jones Sr. wrapping one of my buddy Brock Weaver's hands, getting ready for he said a bare knuckle fight, and I was like, no way, that's illegal. And after I called him and talked to him and everything, he told me sure enough, and I just kind of hit the ground running from there. He'd give me the people to get in contact with, and I reached out immediately. Fun fact here, I agreed to my first fight in the second week of January. I was 305 pounds. I had to make 265. That was second week of January. I was 305 pounds. By the first week of April at weigh-ins, I was 259.
Damn, you put the work in for that one.
Oh, yes, sir.
So
Yes,
fighting
sir.
those guys out, and I know I'm sure that some of them travel, but you said Mobile, and I'm guessing you mean Alabama, because I lived in Irvington, which is a tiny little town outside of it for a little while when I was 18. Those are some tough corn-fed dudes down there.
Okay, so I didn't realize I was talking to somebody that knew, but Irvington is home. I just Mobile includes, you know, the county or whatever. So when you're talking to people from abroad, you just say Mobile because it's kind of easier to explain that way. But yeah, Irvington is home. Irvington, that where I grew up, where we get bored and we'd beat each other up.
I
Yeah.
lived there for like a year. So I moved down by my uncle, and here's a funny story because straight Yankee coming down to the south. I'm 18 years old. I can't find this road called 2 Mile Road. And so I stop and I ask for directions, and the lady literally looks into my face and she goes, "Honey, you go down yonder." She goes about I don't remember how many paces, and then she's like, "Take a left at the broken whatever tree." And I said, "Ma'am, I don't know where yonder is, how far a pace is, and I can't tell you the difference between an oak tree and an apple tree."
Yeah. That's home. That is home.
So did you spend any of the weekends going out to the back then it was the Bush Series races and stuff like that?
Yeah. At the Mobile International Speedway. Yes, sir. We'd go out there, and I didn't go a whole lot. I'm not gonna lie, I said been a whole lot, but I went probably 10 times or so to the drag races, and a couple dozen times to the round track. And man, I'm not gonna lie, the drag races were pretty cool. But my favorite thing was going to the round track and watching wrecks.
Yeah, see, and I'm not gonna lie, the only reason I went because I didn't know nothing about racing is because that's where all the girls were when I was 18 for some reason on a Saturday.
Yep, can't hear nothing nobody saying to each other, but having a blast.
Yeah. So, but I gotta ask, when you get the chance to fight bare knuckle, like what in your head goes, yeah, that's a good idea.
The lack of gloves. I've got pretty good hand speed for a heavyweight, and with the gloves on, I've got pretty good hand speed. Then take the gloves off, and I feel as if for a heavyweight, I've got real good hand speed. And you know, that was part of it. And the other thing, man, it's just the simple logic of it. Okay, in professional boxing, I've got a cast on my hand with the gauze and the tape. It forms into pretty well a doggone cast on my hand. Then I've got a boxing glove on top of that. I could, with that glove on, I could take it and I can try to drive my hand through a 1 inch thick sheet of plywood without any problem, without the risk of hurting my hand. Now, you take that glove off and you can only tape up to where my just before my knuckles there. All right, I can't punch that piece of plywood real doggone hard no more. I got to be careful how hard I punch it. Or I'm gonna break my hand. I got thinking about that. I was like, man, this would be all right. This would be pretty cool, you know. Plus, growing up fighting and everything, beating up on each other, I was like, yeah, you know, it kind of affects people. So, yeah, I just like the idea of it.
So I really wanted to play your last intro on this show, but I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube for copyright infringements. But that was very cool. So I'm not gonna lie, like I had heard the song "Welcome to My House" or "Home," I forget, "Welcome to My House" on
Yep.
YouTube because I listen to Jelly Roll, so it rolls into some other stuff, you know. But like I like that song, but I didn't really know much about New Breed and Jesse Howard. And then I see you reaching out online and you're like, hey, comment, let's get them in here. So I'm like, okay, I'm a comment. And then I see
Right.
that you got them to come out and walk out with you singing that song. How cool was that?
Man, that was awesome. That was like I can't express it enough to let you know how awesome it was. You know, I gotten in touch with Jesse because a buddy of mine, Trip Ellis, he is from Balabatcher down there, and he's got a cousin who somehow or another was working with Jesse at some point, or whatever the story is. I don't know 100% certain. I didn't catch that part, but anyhow, um, he got in touch with Jesse for me, got me in touch with Jesse, and told me the right people to contact or whatever, and made it happen. And I asked him about the song. He was like, "Dude, are you serious?" He said, "That would be awesome. Heck yeah." He asked me, he said, "You mind if I ask, you know, New Breed to come with me?" I was like, "Dude, you know, that would be amazing. Heck yeah." But you know, that's Jesse's song. Jesse's got the vocals in that song. And so New Breed just kind of walked out with us, and he was singing a little bit with him too, though. And that was cool, man. That was probably the highlight of my career, I'll say.
See, and I live in Wisconsin right now. So Wisconsin people would understand that song like people from the South. I don't think if you watch that video, though, and you're not from the South or an area like Wisconsin, Kentucky, you're actually going to wrap your head around that because, like, that's some real stuff where we all live. Like, we're all
Yeah.
cool, but show up at my house and it's going to be completely different.
Exactly. You can raise whatever cane you want to raise right there in the front yard, or holler and cuss, whatever, whatever. Just stay right over there. The second you come up on this porch, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
So, a lot of the reason I wanted to talk to you is one, you are hilarious. You and your wife are hilarious. Follow on Facebook. I get such enjoyment out of you, but your faith drives you. And as a fighter, I like. I'm not saying fighters don't have faith or whatever, but yours is out in the open, up front. You like the pictures of you praying together with your wife and whoever before fights and different things. I find it really touching, and I think that your Facebook is so inspirational and funny. That's a lot of the reason I wanted to talk to you. So if you could touch a little bit on how faith just drives your life in general.
Yeah, man, definitely. You know, without God, I'm not here. Without God, I'm probably in a drug house somewhere, or done got picked up by somebody, hired a hired hand to go beat people up, or you know, whatever. You know, an old scoundrel more or less. But you know, God gives me uh, a reason. You know, the faith gives me a reason. You know, seeing the blessings that God has put in my life, and seeing the things that God has done for me, the bad situations he turned around, man, it's just awesome. I mean, those things didn't happen to me before I started following Christ. Then once I started following Christ, following God, then I started praying about it, and things started coming together for me. And it, you know, all the way up to the point of meeting my wife, I followed God close as I possibly could. You know, I fell every day, still do, but I still kept a solid attempt, a solid effort to be there, you know, and follow God the way that I'm supposed to. And was single for divorced for a year, year and a half, and all of a sudden, just a train of events met my wife. We met December the 20th, and got married on the following January the 15th. And I wish I'd have met her 10 years before.
That's awesome. And you two on Facebook going back and forth are absolutely hilarious. It's kind of like me and my wife. I always say if people just took what we joke about out of context and threw it in a magazine, we would be the worst people in the world. And that's kind of how you guys joke back and forth, taken out of context. Like, take the meme off and then just read what you two say to each other and be like, they hate each other, but that's not what it is. And it's just so awesome.
Man, she's just, she's a very, very jealous person, my wife. Oh, man, I know it don't seem that way joking around there, but she's very, very jealous. I've lost a whole bunch of weight and she's still really, really fat. So, I mean, she's jealous of that. And I keep trying to help her, but she just likes some Oreos, man. And, there's nothing I can do about that. But but no, in seriousness, man, we do cut up, we do joke, we do have fun. Here's been my outlook ever since I got out and on my own and kind of doing my own thing or whatever, in life. What I figured out is we're alive. Period. You can't deny that we are alive, and we're gonna continue being alive until we die. Now, that's obvious. But while you're alive, do you want to have fun or do you want everything to be dreadful? Because, you can either have fun, joke around, cut up, pick on yourself so other people can join in, whatever, just whatever it is about, whatever it takes to have a good time, whatever it takes to put a smile on somebody else's face. I'd rather be that way than walk around dreary and just, like an Eeyore all day long.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate the way you and your wife go back and forth. I appreciate the faith and humor. You're a great follow on Facebook. So, um, I want to talk to you about something because I think there's a misconception out there in bare knuckle. So you know him way better than I do, but I want to talk to you about Malo, about Brandon Lambert a little bit because people follow him on Facebook, and I don't know him well, but I did have him on the show, and I got to have a real conversation with him. And I
Good.
think people take his Facebook or his online stuff as that he's just a jerk off. And I don't find that to be the truth at all, having a conversation with him. I think he's a really nice guy who gets very fed up with certain things and just doesn't have a filter and lets them fly. Am I wrong?
No, you are 100% correct. Lambert is an awesome, awesome guy, an awesome fella. He found out that the Delta 8 and CBD products help my wife with her 20 diseases that she has now, nerve diseases and everything. But he found out that the CBD and the Delta 8 products and everything help my wife. And it helps her feel better. It gives her some pain relief. But at the same time, she consumes the CBD products today, and it helps her be better for tomorrow. And, it actually does good. And her cardiologist has even told her that it's doing better. But anyhow, so he found all that out. We had a conversation. He was, this dude sends us a box, a small shoe, small little shoe box with, I don't know, $400 or $500 worth of stuff in it for my wife. I'm like, man, dude, you didn't have to do it. We already had a good relationship and everything, and it. But I was like, dude, you didn't have to do that, man. He said, I know, but I love y'all, Bobo, and I want you to understand I love y'all, and this is part of me showing you. So, that and man, you see him out in public, you see him interacting with the kids, you see him interacting with people. He really is an awesome fella, man. He really is. It, he puts a facade, a fake out there. Why? To gain viewers. Uh, just like Mayweather. You either love him to death and pay to see him for that reason, or you hate him and can't stand him and you pay to watch the fight hoping somebody's going to knock him out.
No, I agree. It's the Conor McGregor, the Kobe Covington, the Jorge Masvidal. It's you tune in to watch them win, or you tune in praying they get knocked out. And but the thing is you tune in, and like
Exactly.
I just think like the fact that he will say anything, and I mean anything, is another reason. It's the opposite reason I follow you, but for the same reason that it's hilarious. Like he
Right.
gets me laughing because he doesn't have a problem just interacting with somebody on there and telling them to go F themselves either.
Exactly, exactly. He has you hit the nail on the head a while ago. He has no filter. He's not going to try to filter it, and I, I love him to death. I really do. Without a doubt, I really do love him to death. And I wouldn't ask him to filter himself or change himself. Because that's him. If one day he decides that, hey, I'm tired of this, I want to turn over a new leaf, and decides he wants to start trying to turn things around, change himself, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'll still be right here with him, right here for him the whole time, all the way around. I really like him. He's a very, very good-hearted person, and he's also a very, just like I am, a very short fuse, I guess. So it don't take much to set him off.
So another thing you and I have in common is crypto. You and I are into Shiba Inu. You and I watch that kind of stuff. It's moving on it. It's moving for us again. It's moving for us again. But how'd you get into it? Because me, I just had friends who just hounded me until I did something. So I got into a few different types of cryptos, and then I became obsessed with watching it on my phone every day.
Man, you hear all these stories about these people invested in Bitcoin when it was a couple $100 a share, and now they're millionaires. And then the Dogecoin come along, and it just had that Dogecoin blow up, and I'm still hearing all kind of stuff about it. And I got to thinking about it. I was like, man, I want to invest in one of these coins. Maybe branch out and invest in a couple of them, but for sure at least one of them, and maybe I can hit the lottery, so to speak, and become one of them guys that hit it big or whatever. So I got to research, and I seen Shiba on Coinbase. It had just got listed on Coinbase, and it was a new asset or whatever they called it. And I was like, huh, what is this? Let me look at it. It looks cheap. And so I got to looking at it, reading about it, and I said, well, it looks at least promising, maybe in a couple of years it'll do something. So I ended up, my first time I bought in, I bought $150, and it bought me 20.7 million tokens. Then I bought in 2 weeks later with $150, and it bought me like 4.6 million tokens. So I seen it was climbing drastically, the price of it. So I was happy with it, wanted to hang on to it. It also does have me looking at other coins and tokens, and kind of wanting to see what's going on with everything. And it won't be too much longer, and I'm gonna go ahead and buy me something else, to hold long term.
Well, this is not advice, but to buy, but to look up. XLM is supposed to have a 3-year projection of a high jump. I bought in it low, and I'm getting my ass kicked on it right now, but it's crypto. But Shiba, I got about I think 16 million. So I always joke, if this thing even hits a dime, nobody's ever seeing me again.
Yeah, yeah, I've got 69.7 million tokens, and yeah, if it hits, what was it? I think a dime. Then I think it's $6.9 million is what I'd have, or six point whatever. Yeah, $6.9 million is what I end up having. I'm pretty willing to tell you, on $6.9 million, I'm gonna cash out four of it. I'll let three of it ride, cash out the rest, and live a happy life is what I'll do.
And then one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I know he's part of the bare knuckle family, is any more word on how Chris Levin's doing? Prayers and T's and P's to him and his family.
I don't personally know Chris Levin. I don't know that I've ever personally met Chris Levin, but being part of the fight community, hearing so many people talk about how stand up of a guy he is, it kind of, I don't care who you are. If you got a need, and I'm gonna share it. Try to get prayers out there whenever I see it. But I seen that, and I was like, man, let's get some prayer warriors on this. Let's get this man some help from above. And but outside of that, I seen a status last night. I think I shared it where he said he was out of the intubation or whatever, and was still not out of the woods yet, but was on a long road to recovery. So that was very encouraging. That was I was happy to see that.
And for a guy like me who's followed combat sports my whole life, I remember, and I'm going to age myself, but I was like 14 when the first UFC came out, and I rented it on VHS. And well, actually, I had to have my mom come down to rent it because you had to be a certain age to rent it. And I've been following Chris Lieben since The Ultimate Fighter, so it's like you almost feel like like I always say this, like when Kobe Bryant died, everybody had such a feeling, and people were like, "How can you?" I feel like it comes down to even with Chris Lieben. I feel like I know him, even though he doesn't know me.
Right, right, exactly. And see there's a lot of guys who put on a character, for the camera, for the shows, during their interviews and stuff. And that's cool because they've made a character and that's what they play. That's the persona they keep themselves in. And that's cool. I'm not one of them, but I only say that to say that sometimes these arrogant buttholes that you see on TV and fighting and the UFC and all, in real life they're good people. They just they put on a show for the camera, so to speak, because honestly, who wants to? I'm not going to sell very well if I stay uh, my little version of me. Now I'm not much different on camera, not much at all. I do speak up more and am a little bit louder whenever I talk, and but I'm at the house. My wife hollers at me all the time. Huh? I can't hear you. She be sitting right there beside of me. But yeah, it's cool getting to actually meet some of these people. I met Antonio Tarver at my first fight back at BKFC 5. That was pretty cool. I've trained with Roy Jones Sr. over in Pensacola, and I've met we met Junior a couple, 2 or 3 times, and he's super super cool, humble, laid back human being. There, he is awesome. But yeah, getting to meet these people that you've seen on TV growing up and everything, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and Roy Jones Jr. is my favorite fighter. Him and James Lights Out Tony, but that's just because James Tony was always on USA, so that
Mhm.
Friday night fights, I'd get to watch him on USA. But yeah, Roy Jones and James Tony. But what's next for you? What do you got coming up?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I'm what's next for me is let my foot heal up. Getting ready for work. and, running a little behind in a hurry, and you got the stop on that holds the bed up, and I kicked it with my toes, man. I thought I broke my 2 toes closest to my big toe. Oof. But as soon as that heals up, I'm just go back to training, go back to work, and see what happens. See uh, what they offer me, where it's going to be, whatever. But I got to get in shape so I can be ready for that whenever it may be.
All right. Anything you're promoting, any sponsors you have, or any sponsors you want to shout out and go, hey, throw something my way.
Man, I've got a list of sponsors. I had to send them to you, get you to put them on a clip for me.
I
But
sure will. I will put them on the promo and I will drop them in the description. And any links to them, I'll get in the description. So anybody watching this, you'll be able to go down in the description of the YouTube channel and click any of those links.
beautiful. I greatly appreciate you for that. We do. My wife does still take sponsors for us, and uh, she contact her, reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with her or whatever. But outside of that, man, I just want to thank God for giving me the ability and the opportunity to be out here doing this and being able to spread the good word of the Lord.
Well, I agree with that. I love that you're out there leading by example with your faith. I think it's awesome when people do that, and I thank you so much for your time, and thank you again for coming on. And good luck in whatever's next.
Thank you, sir. You have a blessed one.
You too. Thanks.